Welcome back to Backgrounds and Break-ins. I'm here with my guest today, Dax Garcia. He is a former youth pastor right here in Alpharetta. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on, bro. Great.
Take us back to senior year, what you were doing, how you were feeling, what you were aspiring to be.
Yeah, dude. So after we graduated high school in 2016, which is gross to say, dude, we have our 10-year anniversary is next year. Bro.
You aging us?
Yeah, we're old, dude. I felt more gray hair coming. When I saw that, it was like.
You got the reunion text?
Oh yeah.
Message?
Oh yeah. The Facebook notifications and everybody in the comments was like, "Dog, there's no way."
10.
Yeah, we're old, bro. So after high school, I knew I didn't have money for college. I knew I couldn't go to college, so I was just like, I'll go to the workforce and just work odd jobs so I figure out what I want to do. I did everything. I was working at restaurants. I was a bartender. I was a server. I worked at UPS for a little bit. That was hell on earth. That was not a good time, dude. UPS is not the move.
The truck drivers get paid decent, but
when you're a truck driver, it's great. When you're anything else, it's not great.
You do overnight?
Yeah, dude, I was working from 6 to midnight. So 6 p.m. to midnight. But I worked during Christmas, so we'd be working until 6 to 3.
You were like Santa's helper.
I had the Atlanta trailers.
Ooh.
So I was loading. We had the big 18-wheelers.
Yeah.
I had probably 4 trailers come out in one night. So I was just flipping trailers nonstop. Worst part about it is they didn't drug test over there at the time. What? And so I still don't know if they do, I'll be honest. So everyone comes into work stoned and I don't care, I don't judge.
Yeah.
But, your work ethic definitely drops when you're under the influence. So
I'm trying to let's get some proper help out
bro.
here.
And so I was there was one night where I had to load 5 trailers, and because my boss sent 2 of them home because they were under. And I was just I had a bad night that night.
Yeah,
I just was throwing stuff in the trailers. I didn't care.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good thing, but I was also 19.
And you're overworked at 19.
Yeah, bro, I'm exhausted. And I was working another job. I was working at a country club too. So I'm working at the country club in the day and then there at night. And I left. I never went back. I chewed out my boss, I chewed out his boss, and then I chewed out her boss. Back to back to back, and then stormed off.
The riot act?
Bro, yeah. And then next morning, my boss called me, and I apologized very much.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry. That was not at you. It's just with my coworkers and stuff. He's like, take the night off. I was like, I will. And tomorrow. I actually quit. I was like, I'm actually done. I'm sorry. I was like, I can't do it.
And tomorrow. And the next day.
I was done, dude.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, and so...
So UPS, you don't recommend that location?
No, I just don't recommend it.
Yeah.
I think go Amazon. Amazon's probably the best place to get it. They pay you a lot more too. But yeah, no, so I did that, and then I stayed full-time at the country club. Worked, again, just pretty much anywhere they needed me. I was a line cook for a little bit. I actually got to work under a master chef. Turns out there's only one of at the time, there was only one of 70 in the world.
Oh my God.
And so we had one that was running the entirety of the country club's kitchen.
Yeah.
And he came to me one day and he was like, are you in culinary? I said, no, sir, I'm just a line cook.
Yeah.
He was like, would you like to learn from me? I said, learn from you? I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Absolutely.
So I learned under him for a little bit, just basic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He was cool, dude. Chef Schuler, that was his name.
Shout out Chef Schuler.
Great. He's the goat, dude. He's real humble man. Tall, deep voice. Terrifying if you don't know him, but he's great man. And
does he give off a cook vibe?
Oh, 100%, bro. Even if he didn't have that cooking apron on, you're that dude does something.
No, he knows.
For sure. Yeah. So, did that for a little bit, and then I just wanted to get out of that, too. I was just I wanted to. That's kind of when I started going to church more. And unfortunately, when you work in restaurants, Sundays are a really busy day.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, I was just I just want to, go to church, and I couldn't take off. And so, I was working at that time in the cooking department at our tennis part of the country club. That's how bougie this place was. They had their own kitchen. So they put me over there. And I was talking to the girl at the front desk, and she was like, hey, do you, I'm leaving to go do medical school. My job will be open if you want to do it. She just did front desk.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess, sure. And I was freaking out because I already, was kind of ready to dip out of there. And I'm, in this weird spot. And I remember I texted her, and I said, hey, send me your boss's number. And I called him. And he was like, hey, what's going on? I was like, hey, I know this is weird. I remember I was in a Chick-fil-A drive-thru at 8:30 at night, stressing.
Nothing better. Oh.
Bro, no, that's the Chick-fil-A was to make me feel better because I was stressing. And I went and I was in my car just borderline on tears, bro.
Yeah.
And I called him and I was like, I know this is, not proper especially at the country club. So I'm like, I know all that. I was like, would you take my resume for this position? He goes, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow at 2:00.
Oh.
I was like, okay, what do I wear? What do I need to bring? Like he was like, just show up in sports clothes because it was like the fitness part of the thing.
What was stressing you out? Just like you know if you get the job or not, or hours?
It was just so improper because it was like, and I don't know what I'm doing with my life either. So even more so, I'm like, I'm just going from job to job at this point. At this point, I'm like maybe 20. So this is about like a year later, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, you know. And 3 months, so I get hired. 3 months in, I'm sitting there and I'm feeling good. I'm comfortable. It's fun. I'm making full-time benefits and all stuff. I'm making some extra money doing stuff there. I'm fit. Life's great.
Yeah, front desk.
This is where my life starts to change completely. He comes to me one day, I'm 3 months in, and he goes, man, I love you being here. I love your work ethic, all this stuff. And I was like, I really appreciate it. And I asked him, I said, why did you, take a chance on me, basically? And he said, I can teach you tennis. I can teach you how to restring the tennis rackets. I can teach you anything there. I cannot teach you personality, and that's something that you have, and that's something that we need here at the front desk.
Amen to
and that hit, and I was like, oh, man. With that, this is the best part. He goes, with that, I'm going to fire you in 5 years.
Excuse me?
And I was like, yeah, you're fun. Why aren't you laughing? Like, I was like, why aren't you laughing? Because bro, I was set. Because when he asked me what my aspirations were, I told him straight up. I was very real. I was like, I would love to just be here and continue to build and work up. Yeah. And get married and die.
Yeah. Like the normal American lifestyle.
Dude, yeah. And I was very content with that. I was content was the biggest part of my thing. And he told me he wasn't laughing. I was like, where's the joke? What are you gonna say? Just kidding. He goes, with that, he's like, I don't know what it is, but God's got something really big in your life. And I need you to figure out what that is. So in 5 years, whether you figure it out or not, I'm firing you. But you need to figure that out. I said, okay, cool.
Were you content with the stability or the environment of the people, or just
all of it? I was happy. I was content with what I was doing. Don't get me wrong. There were days where it was a struggle, but I was happy with what I was doing, and I did a little bit above the bare minimum. I wasn't the leader or in any type of way. I was very much a follower. Yeah,
not too much weight on your shoulders, but you can do with what's asked of you, the best of your abilities. And
I was like, I'm fine with this. And there was a day, man, where so with this job, I was able to get more involved in church. It was great. How deep do you want this story to go?
You can go as deep as you want. So, I'm trying to think. Let me think back to the past conversations. All right, we can go PG-13.
Okay.
Because all right, I am tailored towards high school kids, so you can go.
No, sure.
You can go senior level. High school.
Okay.
So wait, I wanted to go back. So your new job, your new position gave you Sundays available.
New position gave me Sundays available.
Okay.
Things were great. I got really heavily involved at this church that I met a girl through. Right, this girl, she's a beautiful girl of my dreams.
Wow.
We were on and off for a couple of years. It was just. Let's get back together, whatever.
Shout out to the girl.
Things, unfortunately, we were getting real close. I was like, I think this is the one. I was getting ready to propose, everything.
How old are you?
God bless. I was like 20, 21.
You're ready.
Yeah, I was like young and dumb and in love, and I was like, yeah, this is the one. Like, it was like it was real. I was going to propose to her real soon. She broke up with me. And I was like, real not happy. I was really not in a good spot. And I was just like heartbroken, bro. And I was like, screw it, I'm going to join the military. Yeah. I was just trying to get away from it all, but I stayed consistent being in church. And through that, I was, again, just going through heck and high water with the whole situation. And inevitably, man, God just really came through, truly. Helped me through a lot of that darkness and a lot of that depression that I went through. And
were you mad at yourself?
I was mad at myself for the thoughts that I had. Yeah. And I was also just mad at the situation as a whole. But, with what I went through, I knew I was like, the only name I knew to call out was Jesus. I called out in the name of Jesus, and he came into my life clear as day.
How?
Clear as day.
How do you see Jesus? For me, I'll tell you, me personally, I see when situations arise in my life, good or bad, because I don't think he just appears in your times of, you're supposed to pray when things are good and when things are bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not just supposed to
highs and lows.
It's not a genie that you just, I need 3 wishes and it's going through.
That's not how God works.
Yeah, so usually I hear Jesus through others people's actions, which is a weird, how, but somebody might, your boss told you, if I see something in you in 5 years, I'm firing you. Yeah. I get things like that all the time. Man, that was big, but things like, you have a really nice smile. You were thinking about doing this, and you'd be like, "No, I never thought of that." Things like that. That's fire.
Yeah.
Jesus. Sorry to take you off
No,
the
you're
sidetrack,
good. No,
but
you're good. No, dude. God sent people in my life for sure. That spoke into me. My boss in that moment, looking back, I was like, duh, clear as day.
Yeah.
He, believed that God used him to speak to me in some way. Like there's something better.
he saw something you couldn't see in yourself at the time.
He saw the leader in me. He saw all these things in me, and so after I got out of that rut and all that stuff, my church offered this thing that they called a school of discipleship, where basically you just get to know your relationship with the Lord and like how like Bible study stuff like that. And it was 2019 in like December.
Ooh, pre-pandemic.
Bro, this is where the story gets juicy, bro. Yeah. So this is where it gets crazy, bro. This is where the story gets crazy. Because I was like completely in church, everything. And I remember there's this conference that Passion Church in Atlanta does called Passion Conference. And it was, they started it December 31st. So the night of New Year's Eve. And, they're singing the music and it's great. And then boom, 2020 hits. And all this awesome stuff is happening, fireworks, everyone's, Happy New Year, what a way to ring the New Year. And I remember, bro, clear as day, I felt it like in my spirit. God was like, I'm going to do something big this decade. Now I'm thinking, like, everyone's going to be in love with the Lord.
He's doing his big one.
All these things are going to happen. I'm not like prophetic by any means. I'm like, no, this is going to be great. And then March of 2020 hit, and I was like, this is not what I thought of at all, bro.
The world's being shut down and like reset almost.
World's being shut down. Everyone hates each other. Like division at its all-time high. Like
everybody's inside.
Bro, you're locked inside for months on end. You can't go anywhere. You're stuck. Masked. Don't. This is as close as we'd be able to be.
Yeah.
Like just like I can't be 6 feet.
Social distancing.
Bro, and it broke my heart. Like seeing it all. I remember I was back at the country club. I was still working there, and I was sitting there and I was just looking at all of it, and my heart broke, bro, because I was like, I have friends that I've lost purely just because of the way that we think differently.
Wow.
Like, bro, people that like I've known since childhood, and I'm like, I don't see you in any other sort of line. And so I was like, man, I just wish I could make some sort of difference with that school discipleship thing. One of the pastors there was kind of involved with a college that my church offered. And I was talking about it, and I asked him, I said, would you sponsor me? And sponsoring in the way of, like, the recommendation. Okay. And he was like, dude, absolutely. Like, I would love to. And so I went to that boss, and I was like, hey, you know how he said, I'm going to, like, be gone in 5 years? I think I want to go into ministry. And my boss broke down because he knew exactly that's what God had told him that I was going to do. But he never told me. He knew from the beginning that this is what it was. Oh, wow. And so he was like, I'm here for you. If you still want the job, it's yours. If you want to go part-time, it's yours. I was like, all right, let's do it. So in August of 2020 is when I went to a Bible college and started like the beginnings of my career in ministry. Okay. So it was a good time, bro. College was fun, dude. College was fun in a Bible college. It was different, but it was a lot of fun.
How different from what you would, let me think how to word this. Yeah, go for it. How different was it from what you would have perceived a 4-year college or like, how much different was it diametrically opposed? So
I did what we called our certificate program, which was basically just 2 years of just pure ministry. You learn how ministry works. You learn, again, your Bible classes, stuff like that. Compared to a 4-year university where you learn everything and anything under the sun that you're supposed to graduate. I literally was just like, I just want to learn about ministry. And so I was in young adults ministry, which for our church was like 18 to 30. Which was just learning quite literally how to plan services and stuff like that. But again, also like quite literally learning how to lead groups and small groups and stuff like that, and learning how to just have a conversation with somebody, but also like just how to be like a helpful person. Because I think one of the core things that we're quite literally missing in the world these days is just people that care. Yeah, they want to help. We don't have that anymore, bro. Like it's I hate it, bro, when I'm walking up and down the street and I'm just walking, so I see someone come my way. And you give a little like, hey, no, I'm not trying to start a conversation with you. No, just want to be polite. But I'm like, hey, how are you? And they just look straight down. And I'm like, I think I just said hi.
It's a piece of the social distancing, like the shutdown. People went to remote jobs, so people got more antisocial. Yeah, it could be a bit of like people might not be from here because Southern people are we're more naturally social. Like, hey, how are you? I think it's just manners, as we call it. Yeah, but like, some people may just think that he's like intruding. Yeah. So it could be a bit of those, or it could be people are like really just like aren't trying to like talk at all.
Which
Like,
again,
yeah.
trust me, there are my days, especially when I'm at the gym, bro, and I'm walking down, and someone's like, "Hey, how are you?" I'm like, "All right, I've got my headphones on, bro. I'm trying to lock in. I'm not trying to yap." So I definitely get it on that aspect, but there is just a lot of, like you said, I think the pandemic definitely separated a lot of just conversation with people.
I agree.
And so I really learned how to break out of that in college. Was how to I don't like saying it, but for lack of a better word, just being social.
Yeah.
And just like learning how to conversate and learning how to just be intentional and listen to people.
That's a skill.
Bro, there's a lot of people out there in the world that are hurting and confused and just don't know. And that's why with Young Adults Ministry, I was like, this is cool because I can relate to these people.
Mm-hmm.
But everything changed once I graduated.
Oh.
When I graduated, let me rewind a little bit. While I was in the college, I was obviously doing Young Adults Ministry. So I was going to our events and stuff. But on Sunday mornings, I would serve with our elementary school kids. Oh, wow. I would just be in there, hanging out with them, laughing. My whole role was to just have a good time with the kids, make sure they're paying attention. And it was fun, but I was like, something in me was starting to change. Now, keep in mind, when I went to the college, I openly said, I'm not trying to have kids. I'm not I don't want kids. I was very firm on that. I didn't want to be around kids. I didn't want to do kids ministry. I was like, I don't, it's babysitting.
Not for you.
I was like, bro, I got more important things to do than babysit.
Job's not for me.
No, bro, absolutely not. But God was changing my heart over that period of time. And then I started serving with our middle school and high school students on Wednesday. It's now Wednesday nights, by the time it was Sunday nights. And just getting to talk to them and teach them and lead them. I was like, there's something different changing here. So by the time my college career ended, I finished in young adults, but my heart was really I want to be in youth ministry, or I want to be in kids ministry. What
called out how they see the world different, opposed to yours, the perspective?
The Bible says childlike faith, bro. Quite literally seeing these kids that believe so hard, and as a grown man, I'm like, that's the kind of faith I want. Faith like a child, and that's literally how we're supposed to look at God. God's our Father, and so it's to just have that open faith in Him, even when we don't get it, even when we don't understand it, to just have that, bro. I was like, this is beautiful. And I'll tell you exactly what happened. There was a day that I got asked to preach in our kids ministry. So the way we do, I guess you could call it Sunday school, is we have a full service just like the adults have. There's worship music, we play a little game and have some fun, but then we also have the pastor will preach a message, obviously on a kid level so they can understand. And I was talking about the armor of God in Ephesians 6. And the way I did my example was I had my buddy wearing a Star Wars helmet and Star Wars armor, and I was like, this is the helmet of salvation, and it can protect your thoughts. I'm doing all this, and I'm using a Nerf gun. It's these are attacks from the enemy. This is how you. But bro, while I'm preaching, I'm still in college. I'm preaching this message, and I'm sitting there. I have a Nerf gun in one hand and a microphone in the other, and I'm pointing at my buddy with this Nerf gun. The executive pastor and his wife walk in the room, bro. The executive pastor used to be the kids pastor and of all of our church campuses. And I was like, everything in me shut down. I was like, I'm out of college, I'm getting kicked out.
Because you don't know how he's gonna react to what you're doing.
I was terrified. And as I'm wrapping up, he's dying laughing, bro. He thinks it's the funniest thing in the world because it's a full auto Nerf gun, so I'm shooting my buddy, and he's like, you be dramatic. I walked out of the room and he goes, that was one of the best messages I've ever heard. He's like,
real?
Go here. I said, yes, sir, I'm in college. That was the first one. That was the first thing. Of that man coming in and just saying how good the message was. And it's not in ego way, it's okay, no, there was fruit with that.
Your visual representation made it simple for the youth to understand what you were trying to give them. As opposed to scripture, which could be I don't understand, where art thou? And
right. And you hear that from a former kids pastor, even more. I was like, okay, this means a lot.
That's it.
So the second thing was that night we had a nightly service, a nightly prayer service. And I'm just hanging out with my friends, service ended, and he's walking down from the stage and he was like, hey, I want you to come meet somebody. And I was like, okay. Same, the executive pastor wants me to go backstage to meet somebody. And I'm like, I don't idolize people, but these are people that I highly respect. And I'm like, it was our senior pastor's daughter, and she runs quite a lot in the church. He's like, this man preached the house down over at the campus, and she was like, well, if you're gonna learn from anyone, you should learn from the former kids pastor. I said, yep. I was stressing, bro. I was I'm backstage. I'm not even allowed to I was like, unless you've got your ID, security.
You felt you belong?
Yeah, well, I know I do. It's my church. It's home. But it was still just these are things that if security, doesn't know who you are, they're like, who's this random guy backstage?
He needs to go.
Bro, let's get this guy out of here.
Who's that?
So, but this is the third, that was the second time. The third thing that hit when I knew where I needed to be The same night, I'm again back talking to my friends, and this little kid comes running up to me, and it was a kid from that morning. She tugs on my shirt, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, I remember your message from this morning. Like, it was super good. And I was, she goes back with her mom, and I'm just crying, bro. And my friend's like, what's up? And I was like, I know where I'm supposed to go, and I've been running away from it for this past year. And so I went, and I was talking to my actual kids pastor at the campus and my youth pastor, just trying to think of, is there anything I can do after college that I can intern here or whatever. And I was getting job offers from other campuses and other churches. Like, we need a youth pastor. We needed this pastor. And I just knew, like, I was like, I don't know about that one. I had one, bro, where the pastor called me. He's like, we need a discipleship leader or whatever, part-time. Or he's like, you can be an intern. I said, oh, I'm not sure. He goes, what if I make you part-time? What if I give you benefits? And I'm like, it sounds great. And, like, it would have been great. And I went to my mentor about it. And I was like, I just don't know what to do. And he says, brother, there's no wrong decision. Whatever way you go, God is going to bless you and keep you no matter what. The book of Numbers, that I love that prayer where it says, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine on you, be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. He's like, he's going to walk with you.
There's no wrong choice.
There's no wrong choice. He's like, now, obviously, if you can feel, I don't even want to say conviction. He's like, but if you don't have peace about it, don't take it.
Or clarity.
It just means there's something, it just means there's something else. And so I called him back and I said, hey, I really appreciate it. I just don't think this is for me. And he was like, hey, you're good. I appreciate it. I was like, this is just, and as I'm telling him this, I felt clear as day in my spirit, bro. God was like, if you take this position, you're taking it away from the person I made it for.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, yeah, I can't do it. Click. I didn't even hesitate. I said, I know that voice. Click. It's not an audible voice, but I just knew, bro. I was like, that's not right. That next week, bro, it's graduation day. I've graduated. I'm done. I'm in cap and gown. And the president of the college comes up to me. He goes, like, congratulations, all this. He goes, hey, do you want an internship? I was like, well, for what? And he goes, you'll hear it soon. And I was like, okay.
Ominous.
Bro, so there were two types of internships. There were those that were paid, and there were those that weren't. And it was obviously, supply and demand basically. And the campus pastor comes up to me. And he goes, oh, by the way, we have an internship for you. It's paid, and it's for our family ministries. So you'll be doing both kids and youth. Come downstairs. Wow. And, like, my kids' pastor's right here, my youth pastor's right here, and the campus pastor's here, and I'm bawling. Like, well, why are you crying? I said, because this is exactly what I prayed for.
Wow. And
so I got in, and so I worked as the family ministry assistant at my church for 3 years.
When did you graduate? When did you start?
I graduated in May of 22 and started May of 22. Like, graduation 1 week, and that last week was my last week at the country club. All these things happen, and it's not, God isn't one that it gives a reward like, oh, you did good job. Yeah. That's not how God works. But he will bless those that are willing to, put in the work, right? Again, it's I'm a big person of like, yes, God's like your dad. He is your dad. He's gonna hold
your father.
He's gonna hold your hand, but like he's not gonna like force you to do anything. That's the God that we serve. It's like we have free will. You can do whatever you want. I can not.
I'm not gonna tell you.
Bro, I can like tear up this whole room if I wanted to. Would it be wise? No. God has a different plan for every single person. Some people are meant to do some things forever. Some people are meant to do them for a season, right? A lot of people say, "What are seasons, bro?" It's like seasons. We have winter, spring, fall. Like fall is not around year round. Summer's not around year round. There's a time and a place for a lot of people. Some of my best friends, they've been doing the same career since they got out of high school. Some of them have been through 10 different jobs, right? Now, again, like you said, it comes to discernment and decision making. Obviously, if you're being reckless with your decisions, discernment's not completely there.
You're
gonna just jump from job to job. But like again, I get it. I was there for a couple years after high school. I didn't know what I was doing. Again, I was content on just finding a secure job, secure benefits, and dying. That was my life. Now I know that God has such a bigger call on my life and on everybody's life. He has revealed to me more than anything that everybody has a journey and a pathway. It's only if you're willing to like submit and listen and just be like, where do you want me to go? People make the arguments like, well, doesn't that take away your free will? No, not at all. It's actually quite the opposite because you still have that free will. You can still choose to do whatever you want. And again, more power to you. But again, it's so much better when you're like able to just be like, okay, I know I can go do X, Y, and Z. But I have peace knowing that if I make this decision, that it's going to be better, even if I don't see it.
I like that.
So,
have you ever had the conflict of? And I've gone through this much less now that I've matured, but being like a young, growing, learning male, through American society of like, how it is, like God's plan and your plan, and like maybe you think your plan is right, but God's steering you. Like, you ever like ran to a wall a lot?
Bro, that was my entire second year of my college career. Everybody was like, dude, like, when are you gonna join the kids ministry? When are you gonna join No, I remember telling people, bro, dude, God's calling me to young adults. He ain't calling me to young adults. He told me to go to kids ministry, but I was out here lying because I wanted to.
Yourself?
Because I was comfortable. I was comfortable where I was at. I didn't want to be stretched. I didn't want to grow. I didn't want to be challenged. Bro. I was comfortable, and that's fine. And again, because I was still willing and submitting myself to God, He was willing to work with me. He'll work with stubborn people.
Oh, I'll give you the signs again and again.
Bro, it's just, either way, like at some point, like, and again, look, I could have still continued to go on and be like, no, but at some point, again, God's hand will be like that blessing of that job that I had would have come off, and he'd been like, all right, I get it. You don't want to do this. I'll give it to another person.
Are you stubborn or hard-headed?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a man. Are you kidding me? Absolutely, bro. I tell people all the time. I'm preaching against it all the time, but I tell people all the time, just understand, whatever I'm preaching is 100% probably what I'm going through.
Yeah.
Or have gone through.
But that's good to hear, like a real life experience. So just like this podcast, we're giving like real like how things are.
Yeah.
And things you go through, it's not like it's more common than you would see on social media where everybody's life is great.
Yeah.
Or you hear about. If you ask somebody what they've been up to, and they just tell you like, I work, I this and that, but really behind the scenes, there's so much more going on.
This is why like our God is so great, because he's gracious, he's loving, but he's also so daggone patient.
Yes.
I love. You ever watch that show, The Chosen? It's a beautiful show, bro. I think it's one of the best like Christian entertainment things that have ever come out. Now I tell people all the time when I say I'm like, the show's great, but read your Bible. It's based on the story of Jesus, and it's like literally from like him finding the disciples all the way up to, I think next season they're doing the crucifixion. Oh, wow. And the season after that is like the early church. But I tell people all the time, it's great, but it is Christian entertainment, so it's, there's some fictional stuff in there that they write for the sake of it being a show. But like they take a lot of the stuff from the scriptures. Like there was a season, in season 2 they did the Sermon on the Mount, and season 4 they did the resurrection of Lazarus, like all this stuff. But I tell people all the time, I love this show because I think it really shows the true heart of who Jesus was. I feel like a lot of people, when they think of Jesus, they think of like this mythical superhero that, yes, he was he was perfect, he was without blemish, but people hear that and they're like, oh, well, that's impossible. But bro, in the show, he's like cutting up with the disciples. He's sitting there laughing and making jokes, bro. He's sitting there like camping out one day and like some kids are coming out and he's making like farting noises and stuff and making the kids laugh. I'm like, bro, but that's who he was, bro. And again, he was a man of the, for lack of a better word, he was a man of the people, bro. Like, he was. But I love it because in that show, it shows a lot of his patience with the disciples. Because it shows how imperfect the disciples are.
That's why they're there. Bro, they're a reflection of humans.
In every way, you had yours that were prideful, you had yours that were stubborn, you had those that were lustful, those that were greedy. Like, you have all of these, like, the sins of the world, basically, through, like, most of the disciples, and you see Jesus' patience and his love with it and his understanding. Because he's still a human being at his core. Now, again, he was without sin, but he was still human, so he understood it. He was still tried by the devil when he was in the desert fasting. Yeah. Like, he still went through temptation. He just didn't fall to it, because what did he do? He spoke scripture against it. And so that's why, again, when it comes, to bring it back to what I was saying earlier, like, our God is so patient, so understanding. And it's so simple when it really does just comes down to, anytime I'm stressed, bro, anytime I'm just uneasy, I know why. Because I haven't spent time with him. I talk to him all the time. I love this saying. I learned this in college. And this is a thing that I've applied to my life, is I never talk to God for more than 15 minutes, but I never go more than 15 minutes without talking to God.
Oh, wow.
Because I feel like it's easy for us to just put him in the back of our brain, like you said, genie in a bottle.
Genie in the bottle, yeah.
But, bro...
Wait, no, genies come in lamps.
Oh, you ain't right.
I don't want
That's a funeral right there. That's a funeral right there.
Oh, they're killing us.
Yeah, for real. But it does come down to, like, I mean, bro, the second I wake up in the morning, I'm just, again, I'm not like candle lit, hood on, like, oh, I'm not like that. It's very simple. I talk to God every day, bro. I do. And it's amazing. The things I've seen, bro, the stories, the things I've experienced, bro.
Clarity on things.
Bro, even more than that, bro. Like, the things I've seen, like, for my friends and stuff, things that they've gone through, physical stuff, emotional, mental, like, the breakthroughs they've had, bro. And I was just a witness to it. And that's aside from all the stuff that he's done for me. So,
have you ever heard somebody say something that you may have prayed for, and they say, I don't know how this happened. Like, it's just
I-
random. It was just like so. Oh, they say, what a coincidence.
Yeah. Well,
And yeah,
and I'm
and
like,
yeah, I hear that a lot.
Little, you know that I've been praying for it for the last 2 months in my prayer book.
Yeah, like no matter how hard
Oh,
you
yeah.
try to deny it, like somebody's praying for you, and then you like once it becomes fruitful,
Yeah.
and they say, I don't know how this happened, and you just
Okay, sure.
let it go.
You want to hear a real cool story from camp?
No, why not?
This was
This is a story. This is story time.
This is story time, bro. It was my second year in college, and in the college we had a camp retreat that all the college students would go on. It was just 3 days in the mountains in the cold. Like it was like January. It was cold, but it was fun, bro. We would go out and we'd have like field day games and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, everyone there is like from like 19 to like 26. Like so, it's various age ranging, but like we're all there for the same thing. And we're there, and we're having church service. It's great. It's awesome. Pastor preached a great message. We're all just sitting there worshiping God like you do.
Great
and,
stuff.
I had this friend. We started the college together, and she had a physical thing with her like feeling like she like nerve damage.
Oh. Okay.
And she couldn't feel from like her knee down, and like her hand like middle of her forearm to her hands. She had no feeling. In fact, we always made the joke together where I was like, Mackie, when are you just gonna like let me like run over your foot with my car?
All right.
Like, I was like,
feel a little something.
Can you censor that name out? I didn't mean to say it.
Oh.
But
Okay,
I didn't mean to name a driver. But anyway, so long story short,
we'll get it.
we're at the camp and everyone's praying over her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just praying for breakthrough. And one of my friends has her by the hands, and she's like, "Do you feel your hands right now?" And she goes, "Yeah." Just keep in mind, there was no cure. She's been to many doctors. Never felt anything. Like she like lost feeling when she was a kid. She hasn't had feeling for like a good like 10, 15 years of her life. And just through prayer and our friends believing that God was going to heal her, they did. And I hear her like jumping up and down for joy, like freaking out, and we're like, what's going on? And we realize like eventually through word of mouth, oh wow, she got healing. Like physical manifestation healing. And again, a lot of people call it manifestation. I was like, no, bro, that was God.
Oh my
that wasn't
God.
just people. She wasn't just. I'm pretty sure she's been believing forever.
Yeah.
But it was again. Bible says when two or more come together,
Whoa.
guess who's there? And so
she had unwavering faith, you think, or
100%. That girl was sold out for the Lord. Like that girl was heavily sold out for the Lord. So it was her faith alone. But again, I also believe the faith of everyone. And I remember we went out. It was so beautiful. I cried when I saw this. We had hot chocolate out. And she gets the hot chocolate, she's pouring it, and she was like, guys, I can feel the hot chocolate, I can feel the heat.
Aww.
And bro, I was like,
oh man,
that I always tell people, I'm like, bro, there's no doubt in my mind. Like there was never a doubt, but even more so that day.
Anytime you have a little bit, like 1%.
I remember that day clear as day. Like I'll tell that testimony all day long.
You tell that story the rest of your life.
100%, bro. Because to me, that breaks science. That breaks science.
Yeah.
That breaks the laws of physics. That breaks everything to me. And again, people want to say like, oh well, maybe she was lying, bro. Mm-hmm. No, because
maybe she was lying,
bro. Unless you're that dedicated to a lie, which there's no way.
Yeah, I mean,
it was that was a crazy. I was like, yeah, I like this. This stuff's fun. And so that was like right before like my career in ministry.
When you're entering it, I remember like, I believe in this, that, and I'll pray for this. I don't see it happening yet. Is it like it made an impatient thing or like stubborn thing? What do you think that?
You know what they also said to Noah when he was building an ark? They're laughing at him the whole time. Bro, why are you building this ark, man? Like it's not bro, it's dropped in the desert.
Hey, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Like why? But like, bro, but look what happened.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, bro. I heard this the other day. This was such a crazy thing to hear. I'll never take advice from anybody that's just going to like judge me on everything I do.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Like people that aren't in your same lane. And this isn't that I'm better than anybody, but again, people are always so quick to judge and question everything you do. Mm-hmm. And I get it. And again, discernment is a big thing. When it's your loved ones and stuff and family and everybody's saying it, maybe take a step back and reflect in the mirror. Unless you know in your heart of hearts that this is what you want to do. But everyone's going to have haters, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
You're always going to have people that don't like it because you're not sticking to the norm or you're not, like, being where you're supposed to be.
Usually they're the more insecure individual, and they're trying to, like, put that on you. Like, aren't you insecure as well on this? Yeah. And when you're confident and firm on something, that kind of, like...
Yeah. When your confidence is in something greater than anyone can perceive, I think you're going the right way.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's see if we can squeeze this in probably like 7%. So, tell us about your career as a youth pastor.
Man, being a youth pastor was the most fun and stressful and incredible thing I've ever done. I tell people all the time, like people like under this hat, there's a lot of gray hair. Because as much as I love it, man, it was hard. You know, it's work but it's because I cared. You know, my job was to inspire the next generation to live for Jesus. That was our mission statement, and it was. And I worked with middle schools and high schoolers, and so it was. You know, you're talking to the 12-year-old that just came out of 5th grade, but you're also talking to the kid that's going to go to college.
Oh man!
And you know, you're preaching to a broad group of students. But man, it was fun. I was the assistant youth pastor to our full youth pastor, and so whatever we were supposed to do, I was just there to execute the vision with it, and it was so much fun, bro. I had a blast. It was very humbling for sure. It kept me young, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
on your toes.
You got to keep up with these kids, man. Yeah. These kids are like saying these sayings that I'm like, bro, that is not what we would say back in the day. Bro, they called me Unk because I played the OG Modern Warfare 2, and not like the new. And I was
they don't know.
Bro, y'all.
Yeah, don't.
I was hurt, bro.
They don't understand.
I was a little offended. I'm not gonna lie.
They weren't listen here. Sand trap.
Just good, bro. On Rust.
Rust.
On Rust. I was like, bro, listen, y'all don't know anything. Okay, I was like, y'all were born after that game came out. I don't want to hear it. 2000 and what? I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah,
bro. So, but it was probably one of like it was probably the best 3 years of my life, hands down.
Wow.
Because it was, like I said, it was hard, but nothing beats anything, bro, than when you got a kid that has no dad, mom is a drug addict, you know, both families are or both parents are addicts. School, they're getting bullied all day long, but they keep showing up to church. And they look at you like the older brother, or you know, even like so. I was in a situation where a kid like called me like his uncle, like for real. And I think I had it one time where they were like, you know, you're like the only person I can relate to, or like you're the only person I feel comfortable talking to about this, and it's real humbling. But it brought me to such a place where you really do realize like this next generation, it's a beautiful generation. And a lot of people always, especially like older people, they always say this Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Yeah, I know.
They're cooked.
Yeah, they don't know.
Done, but no, bro, it's such a different, like, they have a heart.
They have resolve.
They do, bro. And they quite literally, whether we like it or not, they are going to lead the rest of the art of humanity.
Yep.
And they're precious. So why are we abandoning them? Why should we not take care of this next generation? And that's where my job came in.
All right, Dex. So tell me why. All right, Dex. So tell me about your snack and why it led to you with a career as being a youth pastor.
Dude, Hostie Zingers, let me tell you. Like I said, I wasn't always, you know, a Christian most of my life, but I remember the first bite I ever took one of these. The smell was beautiful. I took my first bite, swallowed it, and I was like, yeah, there's definitely a God out there.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It's pretty good. I haven't had one of these in years. Oh. So this gave you clarity on the Lord.
On everything.
You know. Hey, I'll come up with some more.
Why don't we have these for communion?
Oh my God. At Dollar Communion?
That'd be crazy. 114% of your daily value of sugar, by the way.
What? 114? Like more than you need?
Yeah.
Well, if you eat 3, I can see it.
Yeah.
But you had 2, so you're only like 84%. We'll wrap up.
I had a Chick-fil-A cookie really high.
All right, Dax, thank you so much for joining the podcast today. Do you have any closing remarks?
By God, honestly.
Oh my.
No. My real answer, truly.
Me?
Yeah. Find God first. No, honestly, there's a God out there that loves you, that created you. He knows you by name. He knows every hair on your head. He knows you from head to toe. He loves you deeply. Find him. He knows where you're at. You just got to find him.
Oh, that is awesome. All right, thank you so much, and tune in for more.